Hey, what's up everybody? It's Travis from Simple C10. Thanks for tuning in. I am motivated and I'm pumped to get back out here in the garage. I just got back from Dinos. I flew over there, was there for the show, flew back, and now I've got so many ideas and I'm ready to install all the stuff I got left on Lucky. So I've got the audio equipment. We're going to do carpet today, sound deadener on the floor, a ton to come. So stay tuned for this. But yeah, let's talk about Dinos for a second. Dinos has to be the best show I've ever been to. Just parking lots full of C10s, a ton of trucks that I love. The people, though, is where it's at. All the different people I got to meet, people stopping me and saying thank you for the videos. That was so rewarding and just so encouraging for me to keep doing these videos to help people out. So thank you everybody that showed me love there. Thank you guys so much for your support and encouragement at that show, just talking to everybody, getting to see your trucks. You've sent me photos and videos and we've talked on Instagram and Facebook, but getting to meet you in person and getting to see your truck, that was just really rewarding to me. So thank you guys so much. But today I'm pumped to hop back onto the Lucky build. We're going to pull out the Snowden seat. We're going to pull out the carpet and I'm going to clean it up. We're going to cut some brackets off to get ready to install this AIC sub box. This is from Slosh Subs. We're going to install that in the back of the truck. We're going to put some seat belts in there. I'm going to be doing a couple things that I've never showed people how to do yet, and that is installing the sound deadener in the floor, installing the carpet. I've got some ACC carpet that I got from stockinteriors.com. I'm going to install that. I'm going to show you how to trim the sides of it, because as a lot of you guys know that's installed carpet before, the sides of the carpet sticks out the door and you have to trim it. Not a big deal. It allows you to get it perfect on there. So we're going to do that. And we've got some kick panels that we're going to install with some 6.5 all JL stuff. And on the next episode, I'll show you how to have a sound system with Bluetooth only. If you've yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button right now. Give me a like, share the video, go to the website, simplec10.co. I've got the air ride guide on there. I've been adding stuff to it every single day. New parts, new links, new resources, and updating it all the time to help you guys out. So let's hop in. Let's start ripping this seat out and the carpet and all this stuff and get Lucky looking good. I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the stuff that we're going to be using. This is the Silas sound deadener, and it's a heat shield and noise reduction as well. So it does all the things. I like to use this kind because it's all black. It doesn't have all the silver stuff. So you can put this on your firewall on the back behind your dash where the carpet ends, and it still looks nice and clean and black. All this does is peels off. Then you use this tool and you kind of push the bubbles out there and makes it look really good. But I'll show you all how to do that whenever I get to it. Here's the Retro Sound retro belt. So they make the old school retro style radios, but they also make retro belt seat belts. It comes with all the brackets that you're going to need. You need all these brackets to secure this to your pillar and to the floor. They have really nice seat belts right here too that have a real classic design. These look really good. I like them. Just black, and they're not very expensive either. But later I'll show you the retractable part that's in the box, but these will go into your floor. It'll be a retractable 3-point seat belt, and it's going to keep you safe while going down the road. Down here on the ground, we've got the ACC carpet. You've probably heard of them. Pretty much wherever you buy your carpet, it comes from ACC. So the first step before I even start pulling the old carpet out and all that, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to lay it on the floor to allow it time to kind of take shape. And I wish I would have left this out when it was a hotter day. The hotter it is, the more the wrinkles will come out. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to lay it right here. Even if it's wrinkly while you're installing it, as it sits in your truck, it'll start to form and all those little wrinkles will come out. First time I ever installed it, I was like, what the heck? This looks terrible. And then like a week later, I got in the truck, and where the heat had helped shape everything, it looked great. So let's open this up and lay this carpet out. and get started on this. Cool, I couldn't remember on this carpet if I ordered the carpet with the mass backing. And what I mean by that is, see this foam and this rubber right here? You'll have an option when you buy this carpet to add, I think it's like $60 or something, to add mass backing. So this is the first truck that I've ordered carpet for that I got the rubber backing with this. Even though I'm doing the sound deadener and everything on the floor, this will add just another level of insulation, noise canceling. I have AC on this truck, so it'll all help each other out the thicker it is. So let's pull this out. Whew, I'm already out of breath and I just got started. But this is what I mean by laying it out. This actually doesn't have that bad of wrinkles in it because of the mass backing, but the longer it sits, those little wrinkles and the waves will all come out of it. This is the 80/20 loop. That's always what I get for these trucks. I think it holds up to wear and tear better. I don't like the felt looking stuff. This is really strong and it works really well. Looks good, super black. That's what I wanted. All the interior is going to be black. The carpet that's in it right now looks pretty good, but it's cut around the edges and just looks rough in a few spots. And I just wanted everything on the interior to be new and to look really good. Just a quick little FYI, whenever you're ordering this carpet, it's going to ask high hump or low hump. This is a low hump carpet, and you can tell on your truck by if it used to be a manual or not. Some trucks have a very high hump in the middle, and usually that was the manual transmissions. And a lot of the 3 on the tree trucks would have a low hump. So if you're curious or you're not sure, you can reach out to me, send me a picture. I can usually tell pretty quickly. But this is a low hump. Another option it's going to give you is the type of material. You can look online for different types of material, and it's also going to give you an option for a mass backing, and I showed you that earlier. That's the thick rubber with the actual matting that's on the back side. From first glance, this carpet looks pretty good, but if you start looking on the edges right here, it's cut. There's a big gap on the side right there, so it's just not the finished look that I want. But to take the carpet out, and you can see right here too, it's cut out all on the back. I wanted fresh carpet all the way to the back because that's where the audio system is going to go. To get the carpet out, you just take out this panel right here. That's kind of what's holding the seal in and the edge of the carpet. I'm going to unbolt the Snowden seat and set it to the side, and then just pull out all the carpet, and we'll see what it looks like under there. Then we'll put the sound deadener on there and keep making progress. Right now it's just pulling everything out. Let's get it out. So whenever you order your Snowden seat, you can get this little cup holder. You can slide it in between the seat where your elbow is, or it slides under the front of the seat, and that's usually where I put it. And I have this little cup holder that I slide in here that I put my airlift controller on, and it works really good. Whenever I ordered my carpet, I did order some brand new floor mats for it too. I went ahead and put those in there because it didn't have floor mats, but these are new as well. And you can order these from the same stockinteriors.com or wherever you get your ACC carpet, and they look great. Usually you want to pull it out over here because that's where your bright light thing is, your switch. So pull it up over that. Pull it out from under all your pedals. And then I like to just try to roll it up a little bit. See, this doesn't have the mass backing, and that's why it's so thin right here. There's good and bad with that. Again, you can cut the holes a lot easier. You don't have to go through the mass backing stuff, but it's just not as sturdy and strong and durable. Let's go ahead and roll all this up. Now, you just got to pull out all the old stuff and see what we're working with. Some of these wires right here, these are old speaker wires. There's some speaker wires running to these speakers. I'm not worried about any of that stuff because I've got new kick panels and I've got to block off those panels. New speakers, I'm running all new speaker wire. This is going to be complete refresh of the cab, but looking pretty solid. I can see that they've put like foam and some underliner stuff. I'm going to try to pull everything out and get it down to bare metal as much as I can. I don't want to put any sound deadener stuff over this old crap. And yeah. This is where it's hard. Sometimes you pull out carpet and they've got a bunch of the old sound deadener that's stuck on there. Sometimes that stuff just doesn't come off. Thankfully, technology's a lot better now when it comes to the sound deadener. But here's the old stuff. It's kind of like carpet, or I don't know what it's. It kind of looks like the stick-on stuff, but it's more felt feeling. But it's going to take a little work right here, but let's get to it. These two wires are, this is the one that goes to the Airlift 3P system in the back of the bed. That's for a keyed ignition. And then this is the one that goes to the controller. Those are the two wires that you run into the cab whenever you're doing air ride. One to tell the system to turn on and one to run your remote. So I just got a pry bar, and that's what I'm going to use to try to get all this stuff out. We've got all the old stuff taken out of the floor. That was a task right there, but glad it's over with. I scraped it up as much as I can and vacuumed it, got all the dust out. Now what we're going to do is cut down. This is where your factory gas tank was. We need to cut the end of it off and then cut off this little bracket here. That way the sub box that we have is going to sit down on that and screw into the floor right here. There's some self tappers that it comes with, but we're going to cut that out first, get all those brackets done, and then I'm going to come back and do the sound deadener over the whole floor. Then we can put the carpet in here and then the sub box last. So that's what we're going to do now. I will reference back to this video on the next video on the sub box installation, just to show people twice. That way if they're just watching the sub box video, they see me cutting this as well. So I'll show you the instructions, but we're going to cut about right there. I'm going to tape it off, and up here we're just going to cut that whole flange off. So here's the instructions that come with the box. Cut off the front portion of the gas tank mount. It shows you what it should look like right here. Cut off the gas tank mount on the back of the cab right there. Gives you a picture. And then with all four brackets cut, it should look like that. So I'm a very visual learner, so I really appreciate when they include photos. Then after we get all those cut, it shows in the box there's 2 pre-drilled holes that you use the self-tapper and the washer, and that's going to attach it to the floor. Just going to roughly tape where I think this needs to go. In the picture, it's just kind of right behind the screw holes right there. You know, I could just eyeball it and get it close, but I always like to just pop some tape down just to give me a visual, even if it's not close. I've cut these before. Sometimes I've done it with a Sawzall where I just cut it at an angle right here and then hammer it down. That's one way to do it. You can take an angle grinder, really whatever you got. Easy peasy. Angle grinder cut off that really easy. Got the backs cut off. Just whenever you're cutting those, all you need to do is just lightly cut right here against the floor, then cut all the way through the top, and then it'll bend and pop off. You don't have to go all the way through and cut a big hole in your floor. I'm going to vacuum this one more time and get it cleaned up, and we'll start from the back side installing the sound deadener. We're getting ready to install the sound deadener on here. This is the kind that I got. There's a million different types of this. I've used Noico, Dynamat, all the brands. It seems like they change brands about once a year, but it's always the same stuff. This is 80 mil, and I like the all black that doesn't have the silver kind of writing on it. That way, whenever you go to put it on your firewall above your carpet, it doesn't stick out. But what you'll need for that, you'll need a razor blade to cut this stuff, and then one of these, either one of these will kind of push down and get rid of the bumps, and that's how you know it's installed correctly. You'll see on the edge of this, it gets into the grooves. You'll see me kind of use the bottom of this roller to push it down into any grooves, and then this on the flat spot. But use any kind of tool that you have, and I like to just kind of map it out a little bit. You don't have to worry about getting it perfect, and it actually says that you don't have to use this stuff on every square inch, that you could just use it on the flat panels. But I cover everything with it. I got 2 boxes of it because I plan to do the back, all this, and then inside the little cubby hole back there, inside there, I'm going to do the firewall, and all the way up under the dash as far as I can get it. I'm going to put this stuff everywhere. I'm going to put it over these little humps right here and on the back. That way when I put the audio stuff in there, it'll help any kind of vibrations, because with those subs, it's going to try to vibrate. So with the noise canceling stuff, and then with the carpet, with the mass backing, I hope that there's no vibrations and everything is good. You know, there's not a lot of science when it comes to this stuff. You're just going to grab a piece, make sure it's clean, stick it down, and just kind of work your way through it and make sure it's all covered. Some places will overlap. Whenever I get to the hump where the transmission is, you might have to cut out a couple little pieces to, you know, kind of take the shape of the hump. But just make sure everything gets covered. While you install this, you'll want to pay attention to where your seat holes are or anything that's going to need a hole. What I like to do is when I lay that piece down, go ahead and cut out all the screw holes. And I like to cut them bigger than the screw hole is, because if you ever try to bolt in a bolt to this and then some of that sticky stuff gets on it, it will strip out the bolt. So just cut it out wide. That way you don't have to worry about that, and you'll be able to bolt your seat in a lot easier. And whenever you go to install your carpet, you'll know where to make the holes in your carpet too. So I'm going to cut out that. I'm going to leave these wires in here because I don't feel like unplugging everything from the dash, but I'll cut a piece to go around it, put a slit in it. But yep, we're just going to cover this whole thing. Once it's all covered, then we'll grab the carpet. Time to get a little uncomfortable here. That's okay. But with this, I'm going to coat the whole thing inside of here, everywhere, with the sound deadener. And I'm going to take the sound deadener and go all the way to the ledge right here. That way, when I install the subs, if they were to vibrate and hit here, it's not against metal. And that will just keep everything from vibrating. But with this, usually what I do is I just peel it open. I like to wear some gloves because it does get a little sticky. And I'll take that back. I'm gonna cut smaller pieces for in there, I believe. So I'm gonna start right here. What you want to do as you're installing it, you just want to put pressure and make sure there's no bubbles in it. Start from the area and then work your way down. I like to get the main piece kind of where it goes, and then come in with your rolling tool and get in to all the grooves. These gloves work really good because I can rub it on the backside, kind of get my hands down in there. So I recommend some good gloves. Just like that right there. There's the first piece. On these edges, I want to just push it. And leave the backing on it. kind of put it where you want to in the place with the backing on it. Push it. To get kind of the size that you're wanting. Right there. These with the lines on it help you get a straighter cut with your razor blade. The first time I did it, I was like trying to get the perfect cuts everywhere. And what I found out is once you start putting this stuff on here, there's going to be spots that aren't lined up perfectly. If you want to waste a lot of time and get all these to line up, and you'll eventually have a spot you're not happy with. So I try to get it as close as I can, but not stress about it being exactly perfect everywhere. Ooh, that is hard work. I didn't get all the way done. I ordered another box for the firewall. I had about a box and a half. So two full boxes would have done the whole back plus the front. And I got, all the way in there. Pretty much coated everything. But I like it. Turned out good. Looks good. I got enough done to get the carpet in there tomorrow. We will put the carpet in. We'll put the box in. Do some wiring. And be bumping hopefully by this weekend. Maybe early next week. Not much to this. Just a lot of using the little tool to flatten it down, making cuts, and a couple wires. I put a grommet in there, and that's also where I'm going to run the positive and ground for the amp through that hole right there. It should be big enough. Cool. Couple things I've got left to do in here. I need to pull off that clutch bracket right there. Clutch is in there. People are confused when I tell them it's a $700 R4, but there's a clutch pedal still in there. I just never took it off. But I'm going to take that off there. Once I get the carpet and everything installed, I've got some Dakota Digital RTX gauges. This has digital gauges in it, but they just pop up like the green numbers. It's cheap. I don't really like it. I've got Dakota Digital coming with the Holly BM Holly unit that plugs into the Dakota Digital that will give you almost every reading that you need. I'm going to take this off and powder coat that black the same way that the kick panel speakers are going to be. Here's the kick panel. I'll talk about those on the next video too. But those will go in. I've got some JL 6.5s that'll bolt into those. And I need tomorrow to go get my vintage air kit to get the vent blocks. There's little blocks that will screw into the vent, and then I will put the sound deadener over those blocks and then put the kick panels on there with the speakers. That way there's no air coming in here and no AC seeping out the holes. But that's it. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. We've got all the floor done and the back side, and then in here, kind of hard to see, but I went all the way into the pocket, all the way in the pocket, so it's all sealed, the whole thing. Then on the firewall, I went all the way up to the pinch weld that's up top. Go all the way to the pinch weld. You don't have to go all the way. The instructions actually say to put this on flat areas. You don't even have to coat everything. But by coating everything, I think it really maximizes the potential of, you know, the heat resistance, the sound deadening, all that kind of stuff. Right here's the main reason why I like to use just the all black, is the carpet is going to come up right to that little edge where the transmission tunnel is, and then it'll go up here. So this area that looks pretty nice here, all black, that's going to show. With it being bagged and everything, it's kind of hard to see that whenever you're looking at the truck. But behind that kind of just looked like rough firewall. You can go in and get the actual padding that's for a factory firewall, but since we're doing the vintage air, that unit is going to go right here. So I like to have this stuff on the back side of the unit. I'll cut out the hole where the actual hoses go to the vintage air unit whenever we get to that point. But this is all covered. If you're wanting to do this, buy 2 boxes, 2 full boxes. I think it's 72 square feet total, 2 boxes of 36, because I've got about a half a box left and I still need to do the kick panels. So if you don't have kick panels coming, you won't do those. But with the vintage air, it came with a plate that we're going to mount right here where the vent is. Mount that. Then we're going to sound deaden. And then we're going to use those Armadillo Fab kick panels right here. And I'll show you those here in just a second. My buddy Kevin had mentioned he likes to put it behind the door panels right here. I might, if I have enough left, do it behind that, or even behind the door shell. Anything that's going to rattle or there's going to be sound, this stuff, just putting a piece of it on there will keep the vibration down. He talked about whenever you slam the door on these, that sometimes it makes a loud sound, so having the sound deadener on the back side of the door and the back side of the panel will actually tone down the sound of closing the door. So I may do that and then test one door compared to the other, because that's just a simple way to cut down some of the sound and the rattle and make these old trucks seem like a new one. Next is installing this cover plate. This is just going to cover your vent plate. We'll sound deaden over it and install the kick panel in there. This one is from Vintage Air because I bought the Vintage Air kit. If you don't have Vintage Air or don't have a plate, you can get one from RS Restorations. My buddy Zach carries these. rsrbuilds.com. Check it out and you can buy a couple of these for your truck. There we go. Got that all covered right there. Not sure how far that kick panel sticks out, so I just made a nice little line right here. And hopefully that's good. I'm going to grab it right now, actually. Check it out. Should have probably done that before, but yeah, you know, can't plan for everything. I forget to. Here's a glance at these kick panels that look sick. Perfect. That's what I wanted. I didn't want the sticky sticking all the way out, but that is gonna look awesome. That fits in there perfect. I can still get to this bolt. Heck yeah. These look huge when they're laying on the table, which it does kind of stick out, but even the plastic ones that come out usually stick out almost as much as this. It just looks like more because these are flat. Usually the plastic ones kind of stick out, but that's going to look awesome with the JL in there, and it's going to sound really good too. So perfect. Once I get the carpet in here, these will slide right behind the carpet, and I'm just going to drill holes and put either riv nuts or just thread them in like I did the inner fenders. The black bolts that I have may just thread nicely into the sheet metal behind it. But those feel awesome. We got the sound deadener done, and now it's time to install the seat belt. So I've never done a video specifically on seat belts. I've had a lot of people request, but usually when I'm doing the seat belts is right at the end of a build and I'm trying to get it all together to go to a show. But I have time this week to just show you guys how to install seat belts. The seat belts that I'm going to install today are the over-the-shoulder 3-point retractable seat belts. So websites have a lot of different options. A lot of these trucks will come factory with a lap belt aviation style. And what aviation style means is you just kind of pull it tight and then you've got to pull up a buckle to loosen it up. And those work just fine. But whenever I install seat belts, if I'm going to go through the trouble of having a seat belt, I want to make sure it's a good one. I like the retractable style. They're kind of the more modern style that comes from your 72 and up trucks have them. But on these 60 to 66 trucks, you've got to drill a hole up where the shoulder part goes. So we have to drill a hole and put a backing plate in there in order to install the seat belt. But I'll go into all the details. But this seat belt kit came from Retro Belt, which is actually the manufacturers of Retro Sound. So if you've ever bought a classic radio that came from Retro Sound, that is the same company that makes Retro Belt. So if you log onto their website, you'll see a lot of different options. But if you choose 60 to 66 truck, it's not going to give you a retractable style because that's not what came in the truck. So what we're going to install is a 67 to 72 seatbelt kit. It's the same exact stuff, everything that you're going to need. It's going to come with the hardware that mounts into the floor. You need these big washers, a backing plate for the upper bracket. I'll go ahead and open this up and show you guys what comes in the kit, and then I'll link it in the description if you want to buy this kit. I don't have it available on my website yet. I'm not a dealer for Retro Belt or anything like that, so just check out the link, buy direct from them. There's a lot of different factory style colors as well, but let's check this out. So here's what comes in the kit. These are the actual seat belts that you click it into, and it has a really cool design that's on there. just kind of a classic design. It's going to fit well with the truck. So we're going to put those, and that's going to be what the buckle snaps into. It's going to come with a lot of different hardware. You're going to need all this hardware to drill into the floor or to drill into the A-pillar. And this is going to give you everything that you need depending on what setup you have. That's something I like about these kits, is it always comes with extra hardware to give you different things that you need for your setups. This truck already had 2 holes in the floor, so hopefully one of these threads in there. If not, I kept my factory bolts too, but this should be everything that we need to bolt it down, and I'll go through that with you as well. It has the other washers and everything. In addition to this style of seat belt, it gives you this style as well. You can bolt this in and put it in your seat, and it gives you a plastic kind of cover that keeps your seat belts where they need to go. I usually use this style here because with the Snowden seat, it puts it kind of in a weird angle with these, but I'll try to show you both options whenever I go to install the seat. You can pull this seat belt out of here because these are shorter. As you see, these are longer. So if you want the shorter version, it has a short version as well. So these may not be long enough to bolt into the floor and go through the Snowden seat. But if they are long enough to where this just kind of sticks up a little bit, that's kind of what I want. Here is the retractable part. This is going to go on an L bracket, and you're going to mount this to the floor. And then this part right here is going to go all the way up to above your shoulder. So we're going to mount a backing plate that's in the hardware to the back side of the pillar and then bolt this in. And then we'll bring this all the way back down and bolt this one into the floor. So these pieces of paper that comes in here that you tear off gives you the instructions for the anchor plate. So it's going to show on the anchor plate here where we do the L bracket. It shows what bolts and nuts and washers and how to install those for the seatbelt part and for the retractable part. Figure 4 is going to give you where to mount your shoulder anchor point, and it says 6 inches above the shoulder, and that's about where my mark is. So the first step is going to be installing the upper seatbelt bracket. What you want to do is measure and make a mark. I'll do that in just a second, and then we're going to use this bracket as a guide. And what this does is mounts on the back side of this. We're going to drill these 5 holes, and the center point is where the seatbelt is going to bolt in. But with this on the back side, we're also going to drill these 4 holes and use a rivet through the front into this bracket to keep it solid. You will see the 4 rivet marks. Once you get the seatbelt mounted and everything in there, you won't notice the rivets. That's about the only way. You could just leave this loose, but it's going to spin in the back when you try to tighten it down. So this is the best way to do it. I took this bracket and measured about 6 inches up when I was sitting in the seat. And then I'm going to find a flat spot right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this tape off. That was just as a guide to show me about where it needed to go. But I'm going to do this side first, and then I will come back and measure this side. But that's where I want it, right here. I'm going to mark these 5 holes, and that is where I'm going to drill holes in the front. Just going to do that, and I'll give you the measurement now, just so you know. So if you're measuring, oh man, if you measure from the roof, you're right at 10 inches. So if you measure from the roof, you're at 10 inches. This is about 10 inches down from the roof. And you see, if you take that mark, it's 3.5 in from here. 3.5 and 10 from the roof is where I put this. Now you can put it anywhere that you want. It doesn't matter. I would try not to put it so far up that you can't get your hand on the backside, because you have to stick your hand up the hole on the bottom to hold that bracket in on the backside. So this looks good right here. I'm just going to go with it right there. I'm going to drill the holes, and then I'll go ahead and knock this side out and then drill for the other side. So I've never had a punch, and I bought this one day on a whim on Amazon. I saw them over at Zach's house, and this one actually, you can adjust the pressure that it punches. So I'm just going to leave it where it's at, but if you've never used one of these, whenever you make a mark where the drill bit goes, you just push this in and it kind of pops and makes an indentation to keep your drill bit straight. So let's see if this works. Can't believe it's been 4 years working on trucks. I've never had a punch. That's it. When you push it in, it spring loads and kind of punches and puts a little mark. I'm going to go ahead and punch the small holes too. Alright, let's see if that helps, because the drill bit was jumping all over the place. Dull. Okay. Shop. Let's see if that got it. Oh yeah, that got it. Here's the fun part. Now we have to take this and reach up there and get it started. Whew, the sun is shining right in my eyes. What are you doing to me? Alright. Golly, I can't even see now. Okay. We are gonna stretch and get this upper bracket mounted in. All right, so I got it in there tight, just held it up, got it started. It'll kind of, if you hold pressure against it, it'll tighten up. And what that does is it will twist the bracket. When it gets so tight, that bracket will twist, and then you just line it up with your holes. I'm going to shoot the rivets in there and then go ahead and tighten it down the rest of the way. It looks like the rivets are kind of slightly off just a hair. So I'm just going to take my drill bit, the step drill bit, and drill those holes again to help line them up. There it is. There we go. That's the 4 rivets. You can see they don't look bad at all in there. That's going to make sure that bracket is in there really good. And then just going to come in, go ahead and tighten that down all the way. Pop it like that. There we go. We've got that upper bracket mounted. That looks good. Move this down so you can see it. That looks nice. Very happy with how that turned out. We'll go to the other side. We'll make our mark. It's 10 from the top and 3.5 from the edge. Ten, 3.5. Here's a trick. If you notice at the bottom is on backwards as far as like how it mounts, which this is correct. But what you can do is just turn this like this and then feed it through all the way like that, and boom, it turned it around the way that it needs to be. So if you ever look at it like, dang, the seat belt's on there backwards, just turn it and pull it through the spot you need it to flip, because it's hard to bend it right here. Turn it, pull it through the hole, and it'll flip it around for you. I saw that online somewhere, and it's been an awesome trick. On the bottom, you've got these L brackets. The L bracket is going to mount in to the bottom here like this, and then that cover is going to cover it up and make it look nice. But what we'll want to do is have this bracket. You'll want to make sure that your seat belts are in line and not twisted from each other, and this is how they're supposed to be right here. And then I like to put this L bracket in the middle of them like that, and then just run the bolt through this hole like this right here, then the L bracket, and then again you want to make sure that's not twisted, and then this part right here. And then we will put a lock washer and a nut. This is going to mount. You don't want it sticking out too far. Try to get it as close to this where the door isn't going to hit it. And I think that's about as far as I can go with it right there. So cut me out a little square. Like a boss. I'm gonna get some spray paint so that this doesn't rust. Let's see if I can reach up under it. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing if I can't. Good thing is if I can, it needs to be a little lower. If I can't, then yeah, boy. What you know about that? Small arms. I think I can. No. So like I said, I can't get to it, but I can't get to it. One of the things that I forgot on the other side is if you mount this directly to the back, see this part of the seatbelt right here? It creates friction with it, and the retractable part doesn't work as well. So I remember that now in one of my trucks, it didn't retract that well. So what you have to do, go ahead and put the bolt in through the front, and then they give you these spacers. It's just a plastic spacer that you put right in between here, and then you actually do the bracket, then the spacer, and then this bracket right here, like that. So there's a little bit of a space There we go. Put the plastic spacer in between so your retractable works just perfect. That's all tightened up. Bunny. And that's it. We've got the top and bottom mounted in. I don't have these bolted in yet because I'm about to put the carpet in here and I'll need to mark where all the holes are first. But that's kind of how it's set up. The seat should fit in here really nicely. The retractable works really good. It's a clean setup. It's really simple. For these middle buckles, this truck already had some threaded parts in the floor, and the hardware that came with the kit actually screws right in here. So that's going to work great. I'm going to use the longer ones. You really need the longer ones, is what it appears like. I'm going to mount them like this. That way it can slip around the seat and buckle in like that. But all you have to do on these, if you already have threaded spot, just run your bolt straight in here through there, work this into your bench seat, and that's it. On the middle buckles, if you already have the threaded holes like I have, all you're going to do is take the hardware that came with it. It works with the factory, and bolt in this middle one and work it into your seat. If you don't have those holes, all you'll do is drill holes right there, and then you're going to mount these in the same way with a bolt all the way through there with the big fat washer underneath the truck with a nut on it. But I can mount these from the top side. If you want to be extra safe, you could go through the bottom of the truck and then just put another lock washer and a nut through the bolt that's underneath the truck as well. I'm just going to bolt these in once I get the carpet in there. And that is it. I'm really happy with how the seat belts turned out. I'll give you a glance at it and then I'll let you see it again whenever the seat and the carpet and everything is back in there. So I've laid this carpet out for a couple days in the other garage to kind of let it form instead of just being in a roll, but it's still going to be a little wrinkly until the sun really heats this up. But you can see this is the mass backing. That's an option that you can choose, and it just has a thicker rubber and a backing here. You'll notice that the sides right here are going to overlap on the doors, and that's on purpose so you can actually cut it to the size that you need. What I like to do is just lay the carpet in the truck, and then I'm going to mark where the holes go for the bolts, and I'm going to try to start a few bolts in the carpet to get it kind of set still, and then I will cut the edges, because I don't want to cut the edge and then go to the other side and push down and it pulls one edge and then I cut and then it's too short. So if you get some bolts in the carpet, kind of where your seat go or your seat belts, then it will allow you to make a better cut on the edge. My buddy Zach at RS Restorations, I was helping him put carpet in one of his builds, and he used a solder to actually burn a hole in the carpet to put his bolt through. And I thought that was brilliant, because if anybody's ever tried to screw through the carpet, it will twist, grab the carpet, and then pull a whole strand and make a mess of your carpet. So what I'm going to do is mark the holes where they go, and then I'm going to poke through it with this solder, get it heated up, and it will make a hole. And then it will also kind of burn the rubber and the carpet edges so they don't fray. So I hope this works. I went and bought this. I needed a soldering iron anyway, but you guys know I'm a Milwaukee fanboy, so I just got this one. Battery operated. You can change the tips, because I know whenever I do this it's going to get some rubber on the tip. I might be able to just clean it off, but we'll see. But if this works, it'd be great. I did watch some videos last night online of how you can heat up a socket and then use the socket to press in to make a perfect hole for your bolts. That's one option, but I didn't really want to heat up a socket and do all that. But I may end up doing it if this doesn't work well. But we'll try it out. Let's get the carpet in the truck, kind of get some holes in it, get it bolted down, and start cutting it. Yesterday, while installing the sound deadener stuff, I was crouched over the whole time, and I am beat up, man. You can start to feel that stuff so much more the older you get. Sound like I'm 60 out here. I'm only 38, for those that were wondering. Right in the middle of not being cool anymore. I'm still thinking I'm cool, but it works. Just embrace it. The back is also going to have a lot of excess, so we will have to kind of push down on the carpet and then make some slits in it. I like to cut the sides here and then cut a little kind of a section off, and I'll show you all this, but cut it straight down, cut the back off, and then push the back into the corner right here, into the little pocket. And I may leave it long and then let that carpet be between the sub box and the back to insulate it even more. It's probably what I'm gonna do. Right now, all I'm gonna do is try to lay out the carpet and get it kind of in the right place where it needs to go. Right here is the main spot, right at this hump. You want to get that hump lined up. That's kind of the most important shape to it, is right there, which is great. I was worried that the carpet was going to come up and hit my gas pedal, but it ended up right below it. That's great. I'll start on one side and I'll feel where the seatbelt holes are. I'll put one hand under it, kind of mark where the hole is, then one finger over it, and I'll take that soldering iron and I'll press it down into the hole and then kind of make a circular pattern to melt it out. We'll see. I haven't done it with this style, so we will see. I'm gonna grab this mat for my knees because, yeah. Oh. Here we go. Got this nice little mat. That'll work out good. All right. Ooh, yeah. Oh, a knee mat, man. Knee mat companies, if you want to sponsor me, I need it. Need it. See what I did there? No cap. Boy. All right. Never again. Never doing that again. All right, so this is what I want to do is I want to push, I'm going to push the slack up to make it push all the way against that, and I'm going to go ahead and heat up. I turned on this, I'll set it right here. Never used one of those before. I'm not sure how long it takes to get hot. It's blinking green right now, so I'm gonna see if it does anything when it gets hot. But this is what, okay, it blinks green, and then when it's green, I'm assuming it's good to go. So press it. I'm marking right where that hole is. I'll take the solder. Woo! That melted. Nice. So yeah, it's gonna smoke, but I'll show you that hole. Bro, the solder, it's stinking, but it's working. Fingertip. Man. I've got to just grab the camera and show you all this. That thing's melting, but check out this hole. So I just marked it with my finger. The little point will go straight down in that screw hole and it melts. The edge is perfect where, like, and it's a perfect size hole. Like, it just, boom, right there. And that's it. Man, that is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the holes. This is working out good. It does get nasty and it's smelly, but it's not like heating up a nut making a hole. So let's continue on. But right here I've got the other two. The solder worked perfect. I had the seat belt hole that I needed to mount the seat belt. I did the exact same thing, and this was big enough for a bigger bolt. So that worked out great. Very happy with this purchase. You can change out the ends. I'm going to find a way to clean off that rubber. It looks like it's burning off, so if I just got some steel wool or something and pulled with a glove on, pulled it off. But right now, that's working great. That's what I wanted it for. There's another seat belt hole that's a little over here. Let me move the camera. There's another seat belt hole that's somewhere right here. So I'm gonna get that one somewhere right there. There we go. So that was a good test right there. Is you can put it in the hole and just twist a little bit and it melts it no problem around, because that's a bigger bolt that goes into that hole. So let me go get that bolt, test it. Steel wool seemed to clean it really good, and the wool doesn't get your hand hot where it melts, but I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave one of these tips as a carpet tool, and I'm going to get me another tip that unscrews right here for actual soldering. But great tool, love this. I got these on sale, it's $79. It's quite a bit for a soldering iron, but fits my Milwaukee stuff. It's got multiple uses. I'll be able to use this for going through plastic if I need a hole, or a lot of different things that I could use this for. So yeah, that's me validating the purchase, but the time it saved me right there and how it's going to make this carpet looks totally worth it. All right, now that we have all the carpet bolted down, which went really nice, really happy with that. Now it is time to take care of this flap that's sticking out of the truck. So the reason, again, that we bolt down this is so when we're making this cut, the carpet doesn't slide around everywhere, because we don't want to cut here and then bolt down the carpet over there, and when we're cutting it slides over and then we're left with a huge gap. Right now this carpet is laying down really nicely. Sometimes there's a gap between the carpet and the side panel right here, but this carpet is looking really good, which I've got the kick panels and stuff right there too, so it should really look nice. But on this, what I'll do is I will push down on the carpet, push down on it, and then I'm going to use this little gap right here to make my cut for the carpet.
And usually what I do is I'll pull off the rubber if it's not glued on, which this is glued on. I'll eventually take this off. I don't want to take it off right now, but I'm going to use some of those Honda seals that pop on. Let's go ahead and press down. Make sure you got a really sharp razor knife. And we're just going to cut as nice as we can right here. This always makes me nervous. So just try to get it as close as you can to the edge. Just do a little at a time. Don't get carried away with it. And you want to make a nice cut so it doesn't fray your carpet like I just did. Okay, all right, that cut looked pretty good. I'm actually gonna take my glove off, that glove. Usually I like to press my knife down until I feel it's in the groove and then cut alongside that groove. Remember, you don't have to get the carpet all the way to the edge because the chrome piece bolts on here and then holds everything down. But I want to get this carpet as close to the edge as I can. That way there's not a gap. Got it in that groove. All right, we've got it cut all along the side. Then when you get to this back part, this is really preference to what you want. But I like to just cut off some excess right here and then leave a little flap so you can fold it on the back side and the flap kind of sticks behind. So I'll show you that. I'm just going to cut off this excess like this right here. And then you can take this, and this little piece that you have right here will fold into the back side of the kick panel, because this speaker is gonna go all the way to the edge and hide that, and this carpet will act like more sound deadener in there. If you're gonna see this part back here, you can cut this just straight back and have the carpet, and don't worry about it. This is just how I do it if I'm gonna leave the back flap of the carpet. There we go. Just like that. That looks good. It pushed in there, and then that will just be extra padding. I wanted to push it in there cut like that because then that adds a little bit more rigidity on the back side. When you do that, it kind of locks it in and doesn't allow it to flap around as much. Now on this side, you'll want to pull out this wire, move it out of the way so you're not splicing into that. After you get that cut, you can put that wire back. So there's the carpet. It looks really good in there. It laid down perfect. It fit the hump. Really good carpet. Here's the cut. Really good cut. And that trim will hide it. Goes all the way into the kind of pocket right there. Everything's bolted in. All the holes are good with the solder. And now I'm going to go ahead and run some wires underneath the carpet for the power, ground, and remote for the amplifier. And then also run some speaker wire up to where the kick panels are going to be. And once I have all the wires ran underneath the carpet, then we can put the subwoofer box in there.